What if I told you that 95% of your daily decisions are made by the wrong part of your brain? That every single day you're sabotaging your own success without even knowing it? Right now, as you're watching this video, your brain is running on autopilot. It's making assumptions about what I'm going to say next. It's deciding whether to keep watching or click away. And here's the scary part. Most of these decisions aren't really your decisions at all. I just finished reading Shane Parrish's masterpiece, Clear Thinking, and it completely shattered everything I thought I knew about how the human mind works. This isn't just another self-help book. This is a complete operating system for your brain. Think about your last major mistake. That job you didn't take, that relationship you stayed in too long, that investment you made that went sideways. What if I told you that every single one of those wasn't bad luck? It was predictable mental programming that you can actually change. In the next 4 hours, I'm going to break down every single framework, every mental model, and every practical technique that separates clear thinkers from everyone else. By the end of this video, you'll have a completely different relationship with your own mind. But here's what makes this different from every other book summary you've ever watched. I'm not just going to tell you what to think. I'm going to show you exactly how to rewire the way your brain processes information, makes decisions, and solves problems. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to effortlessly make great choices while you're stuck overthinking everything, this video will give you the answer. And more importantly, it'll give you the tools to join them. So grab a notebook, because what you're about to learn will fundamentally change how you see the world. Step 1. The hidden enemies of clear thinking. Understanding your brain's default settings. Your brain wasn't designed for the modern world. It was designed for survival 50,000 years ago. And that's the first thing you need to understand about why clear thinking is so difficult. Shane Parrish identifies 4 primary enemies that hijack our thinking every single day. These aren't character flaws. They're features of human psychology that once kept us alive but now keep us stuck. Enemy 1, the emotion default. Your emotional brain processes information 20 times faster than your rational brain. This means that before you even realize what's happening, your emotions have already decided how you're going to react to a situation. Think about the last time someone cut you off in traffic. Did you logically analyze their possible motivations? Did you consider that maybe they're rushing to a hospital? Of course not. Your emotional brain immediately labeled them as a threat and flooded your system with anger. This is the emotion default in action. It's not wrong. It's just automatic. And automatic responses rarely lead to optimal outcomes. The solution isn't to eliminate emotions. That's impossible and counterproductive. The solution is to recognize when your emotional brain has taken control and create space for your rational brain to engage. Parrish recommends a simple technique. When you feel a strong emotional response, pause and ask yourself, what is my emotion trying to tell me? This simple question shifts you from reaction mode to analysis mode. Enemy number 2, the ego default. Your ego's primary job is to protect your self-image, and it will lie, cheat, and distort reality to do that job. This is why you can watch a video of yourself giving a presentation and think, that wasn't as bad as I remembered, even though everyone else in the room was cringing. The ego default shows up in 3 primary ways. First, it makes you defend positions you no longer believe in simply because you've publicly committed to them. This is why politicians rarely change their minds, even when presented with overwhelming evidence. Second, it prevents you from seeing your own mistakes clearly. Your ego will always find a way to make your failures someone else's fault or the result of bad luck. Third, it makes you overestimate your own abilities and underestimate how long things will take. This is why every home renovation project takes twice as long and costs twice as much as originally planned. The antidote to ego default is radical honesty with yourself. Keep a decision journal. Write down what you think will happen and why. Then, 6 months later, go back and see how wrong you were. This practice is humbling, but it's also liberating. Enemy number 3, the social default. Humans are social creatures. We're literally hardwired to care more about fitting in with the group than being right. This worked great when being kicked out of the tribe meant death. But in the modern world, it leads to groupthink, conformity, and terrible decisions. Social default is why you'll nod along in meetings even when you disagree. It's why you'll go to restaurants you don't like because your friends chose them. It's why you'll make investment decisions based on what everyone else is doing, rather than what makes logical sense. Social media has made this problem exponentially worse. We're now performing for an audience 24/7, and that performance pressure distorts our thinking in ways we don't even realize. The key to overcoming social default is to actively seek out dissenting opinions. Before making any important decision, find someone you trust who disagrees with you and really listen to their perspective. Enemy number 4, the inertia default. Your brain is essentially lazy. It wants to conserve energy, so it defaults to whatever requires the least mental effort. This is why you order the same thing at restaurants, take the same route to work, and stick with relationships and jobs that aren't serving you. Inertia default isn't just about big life decisions. It affects how you process information on a daily basis. You'll accept the first explanation that makes sense, rather than looking for better ones. You'll stop researching once you find information that confirms what you already believe. This is why most people's opinions about complex topics can be traced back to whatever they happen to read first. Your brain simply doesn't want to do the hard work of truly understanding something when it can just grab onto the first plausible explanation. Breaking inertia default requires deliberately introducing friction into your thinking process. Before accepting any explanation or making any decision, ask yourself, what else could be true? Force yourself to generate at least 3 alternative explanations before settling on one. Step 2. Building your mental operating system. The architecture of clear thinking. Once you understand what's working against you, you can start building what Parrish calls your mental operating system. This is a set of principles and processes that help you think more clearly, regardless of the situation. Principle number 1, separate thinking from deciding. Most people think and decide simultaneously, which is like trying to write and edit at the same time. It's inefficient and leads to poor outcomes in both areas. Clear thinkers separate these processes completely. First, they gather information and explore possibilities without committing to any particular outcome. Only after they've thoroughly understood the situation do they move into decision mode. This separation prevents you from falling into confirmation bias, where you only look for information that supports the decision you've already made unconsciously. Here's how to implement this. For any important decision, set aside dedicated thinking time where you're not allowed to make the decision. Your only job is to understand the situation as deeply as possible. Only after this exploration phase do you move into decision mode. Principle number 2, think in probabilities, not certainties. The future is inherently uncertain, but most people think and speak as if they can predict exactly what's going to happen. This leads to overconfidence and poor planning. Clear thinkers embrace uncertainty. They think in terms of probabilities and ranges rather than point predictions. Instead of saying, this investment will return 10%, they say, this investment has a 60% chance of returning between 8 to 12%. This probabilistic thinking forces you to consider multiple scenarios and plan accordingly. It also makes you more honest about what you actually know versus what you're just hoping will happen. Principle number 3, focus on process, not outcomes. You can make a great decision and still get a bad outcome. You can make a terrible decision and get lucky. If you judge your thinking based on outcomes alone, you'll learn the wrong lessons and make worse decisions over time. Clear thinkers focus on the quality of their decision-making process. They ask themselves, given what I knew at the time, was this the right way to think about this problem? This allows them to learn from both good and bad outcomes. Keep a decision journal where you record not just what you decided, but why you decided it, and what process you used to reach that conclusion. This will help you identify patterns in your thinking and improve your process over time. Principle number 4, seek disconfirming evidence. Your natural tendency is to look for information that confirms what you already believe. Clear thinkers do the opposite. They actively seek out evidence that contradicts their current thinking. This doesn't mean being wishy-washy or changing your mind at the first sign of disagreement. It means being genuinely curious about where you might be wrong and updating your beliefs when the evidence warrants. Before making any important decision, ask yourself, what would have to be true for this to be the wrong choice? Then go look for evidence of those conditions. Step 3, the decision-making framework, a systematic approach to better choices. Now that you understand the enemies of clear thinking and the principles of mental operating systems, let's get practical. Parrish provides a step-by-step framework for making better decisions in any situation. Step 1, define the real problem. Most people skip this step and jump straight to solutions. But if you're solving the wrong problem, it doesn't matter how clever your solution is. The key is to distinguish between symptoms and root causes. If you're constantly stressed at work, the problem might not be your workload. It might be that you're in the wrong job entirely. Use the 5 whys technique. Ask yourself why something is a problem, then ask why that's a problem, and keep going until you reach the root cause. Step 2, explore the solution space. Once you've defined the real problem, resist the urge to jump to the first solution that comes to mind. Instead, Deliberately generate multiple options. Most people consider 2-3 options max. Clear thinkers force themselves to come up with at least 5-10 possibilities, even if some seem ridiculous at first. Often, the best solutions emerge from combining elements of different options. Step 3. Evaluate options, using multiple criteria. Don't just go with your gut feeling. Create explicit criteria for evaluating your options and score each one systematically. For example, if you're choosing between job offers, your criteria might include salary, growth potential, work-life balance, company culture, and learning opportunities. Score each option on each criterion, then see which one comes out ahead. Step 4. Consider second and third order consequences. Every decision creates ripple effects. Clear thinkers don't just think about immediate consequences, they think about the consequences of those consequences. If you take that higher paying job in a different city, the immediate consequence is more money. But the second order consequences might include being far from family, starting over socially, and higher cost of living. The third order consequences might include your children going to different schools, and your spouse having to find a new job. Step 5. Make the decision and commit. Once you've gone through this process, make the decision and commit to it fully. Don't second-guess yourself or keep reconsidering. You've done the work. Trust your process. This doesn't mean never changing course if new information emerges, but it does mean giving your decisions a fair chance to work rather than undermining them with constant doubt. Step 4. Managing information in the digital age. Staying clear in an overwhelming world. We live in an age of information overload. Every day, you're bombarded with more information than your ancestors encountered in their entire lifetimes. This creates unique challenges for clear thinking. The filter bubble problem. Social media algorithms show you information similar to what you've engaged with before. This creates an echo chamber where you only see perspectives that confirm your existing beliefs. To combat this, actively seek out high-quality sources that challenge your viewpoints. Read publications you disagree with. Follow people on social media who make you uncomfortable with their ideas, as long as they're arguing in good faith. The recency bias trap. Human brains give disproportionate weight to recent information. Whatever you heard last tends to have the biggest impact on your thinking, even if it's not the most important or accurate information. Combat this by keeping written records of important information and revisiting them regularly. Don't let the latest news cycle completely reshape your worldview without careful consideration. The expertise problem. In our complex world, you can't be an expert in everything, but you need to make decisions about topics you don't fully understand, from medical treatments to investment strategies to political candidates. The key is learning how to evaluate expertise in others. Look for people who have actual experience in the field, who acknowledge uncertainty, and who can explain complex topics in simple terms. Be especially wary of experts who claim certainty about inherently uncertain topics, or who refuse to acknowledge the limitations of their knowledge. Step 5. Emotional regulation for clear thinking. Managing your internal state. Your emotional state dramatically affects your ability to think clearly. When you're stressed, angry, or afraid, your brain literally shifts resources away from higher-order thinking and toward immediate survival responses. Physiology of clear thinking. Clear thinking isn't just mental. It's physical. Your brain consumes about 20% of your total energy, and it's extremely sensitive to changes in your physical state. Sleep deprivation, dehydration, low blood sugar, and lack of exercise all impair your cognitive function in measurable ways. If you want to think clearly, you need to take care of your body. Parrish recommends treating your brain like an elite athlete treats their body. This means regular sleep schedules, proper nutrition, consistent exercise, and adequate recovery time. Stress and decision-making. Chronic stress literally shrinks the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for executive function, planning, and rational decision-making. At the same time, it enlarges the amygdala, making you more reactive and emotional. The solution isn't to eliminate stress entirely. Some stress is actually beneficial for performance. The key is managing stress levels and giving your brain regular opportunities to recover. Meditation, deep breathing exercises, and regular breaks from intense mental work all help restore your brain's ability to think clearly. The power of pause. When facing a difficult decision or emotional situation, the most powerful tool you have is the pause. Simply creating space between stimulus and response allows your rational brain to catch up with your emotional brain. This can be as simple as counting to 10 before responding to a provocative email, or as complex as sleeping on major life decisions. The key is recognizing when your emotional brain has taken control and creating enough space for your rational brain to engage. Step 6. Building systems for sustained, clear thinking. Making good thinking automatic. Clear thinking isn't just about having good techniques. It's about building systems that make good thinking automatic and sustainable over time. The environment design principle. Your environment shapes your thinking more than you realize. A cluttered workspace leads to cluttered thinking. Constant notifications fragment your attention and make deep thinking nearly impossible. Design your environment to support clear thinking. This means creating dedicated spaces for deep work, eliminating distractions during thinking time, and surrounding yourself with tools and resources that support good decision-making. The routine advantage. Clear thinkers don't rely on willpower or inspiration. They rely on systems and routines. They have specific times for deep thinking, regular processes for making decisions, and consistent habits for gathering and processing information. Develop your own thinking routines. This might include a weekly review where you reflect on recent decisions, a morning routine that prepares your mind for the day ahead, or regular time blocks dedicated to strategic thinking. The feedback loop system. Without feedback, you can't improve. Most people make decisions and then forget about them, missing opportunities to learn and grow. Create systems for capturing feedback on your decisions. Keep a decision journal where you record what you decided and why. Set calendar reminders to review major decisions after they've had time to play out. Look for patterns in your thinking. Do you consistently overestimate how long projects will take? Do you make better decisions in the morning or evening? Do certain types of situations consistently trip you up? The learning integration process. Clear thinking requires continuous learning and updating. But learning isn't just about consuming information. It's about integrating new knowledge into your existing mental models and updating your thinking accordingly. Create regular processes for reviewing and updating your beliefs. This might include quarterly reviews of your core assumptions, regular discussions with people who challenge your thinking, or systematic exposure to new ideas and perspectives. Step 7. Advanced applications and real-world implementation. Putting it all together. Now let's look at how to apply these principles in specific areas of your life where clear thinking matters most. Career and professional decisions. Career decisions are among the most important you'll make, yet most people approach them haphazardly. Clear thinking principles can dramatically improve your professional trajectory. When evaluating career opportunities, don't just look at immediate benefits like salary and title. Consider long-term growth potential, skill development opportunities, network effects, and alignment with your values and goals. Use the decision-making framework to systematically evaluate options. Create explicit criteria, consider second and third-order consequences, and actively seek out disconfirming evidence. Separate your identity from your job. Your ego will try to make career decisions based on what sounds impressive to others, rather than what's actually best for you. Relationship and personal decisions. Relationships are inherently emotional, which makes clear thinking both more difficult and more important. The stakes are high, and your emotional brain will constantly try to override your rational analysis. The key is acknowledging emotions without being controlled by them. Your feelings provide important information about relationships, but they shouldn't be the only factor in your decisions. Use the pause technique liberally in relationship conflicts. Create space for your rational brain to engage before responding to emotional triggers. Financial and investment decisions. Money decisions are particularly susceptible to cognitive biases and emotional manipulation. The financial industry profits from your mental shortcuts and emotional reactions. Apply probabilistic thinking to all financial decisions. Don't think in terms of guaranteed returns. Think in terms of ranges and probabilities. Diversify not just your investments, but your mental models about how money works. Be especially wary of get-rich-quick schemes and investment opportunities that seem too good to be true. Your ego wants to believe you can outsmart the market, but clear thinking recognizes that exceptional returns usually come with exceptional risks. Health and lifestyle decisions. Health decisions often involve trade-offs between immediate pleasure and long-term benefits. Your brain is wired to prioritize immediate rewards, which works against good health decisions. Use implementation intentions to overcome this bias. Instead of just deciding to exercise more, decide specifically when, where, and how you'll exercise. The more specific your plan, the more likely you are to follow through. Apply the same systematic thinking to health decisions that you would to business decisions. Research options thoroughly. Consider long-term consequences, and be honest about your own track record and limitations. If you've made it this far, you're already thinking differently than you were 4 hours ago. But here's the thing about clear thinking. Knowing these concepts isn't enough. You have to actually implement them, and that's where most people fail. They watch videos like this one. They read books like Clear Thinking. They nod along and think, this makes sense. And then they go right back to making decisions the same way they always have. Don't be one of those people. The difference between successful people and everyone else isn't that they're smarter or more talented. It's that they've learned to think clearly and make better decisions consistently over time. And now you have the same tools they do. But tools are worthless if you don't use them. So here's your challenge. Pick one concept from this video and implement it this week. Not next month. Not when you have more time, but this week. Maybe it's starting a decision journal. Maybe it's practicing the pause technique the next time you feel your emotional brain taking over. Maybe it's actively seeking out a perspective that challenges something you currently believe. Whatever you choose, commit to it completely. Don't hedge your bets or do it halfway. Clear thinking requires clear commitment. And here's the beautiful thing about developing clear thinking skills. They compound over time. Every good decision makes the next good decision easier. Every time you catch your brain in a mental trap, you become less likely to fall into that trap again. 6 months from now, if you actually implement what you've learned today, you'll look back on your current thinking the same way you probably look back on your thinking from 10 years ago, with a mixture of compassion and amazement at how much you've grown. The people in your life will notice the change too. They'll start coming to you for advice. They'll trust your judgment. They'll see you as someone who has their life together, even when things get complicated. Because that's what clear thinking ultimately gives you. Not a life without problems, but the ability to navigate problems with confidence and skill. Shane Parrish spent years studying how the best thinkers in the world approach complex problems. He distilled that research into practical frameworks that anyone can use. I've just given you a 4-hour deep dive into his most important insights. Now it's up to you to decide what to do with them. If this video helped you understand how to think more clearly, do me a favor and share it with someone who could benefit from these ideas. Clear thinking isn't just a personal advantage. It's something our world desperately needs more of. And if you want more content like this, where I break down the most important ideas from the world's best thinkers, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. I'm constantly reading, researching, and distilling the ideas that can actually change your life. But remember, information without implementation is just entertainment. Don't let this be entertainment for you. Let it be transformation. The choice, as always, is yours. But now you have the tools to make that choice clearly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.